Hello and welcome to the Real Women, Real Business podcast with myself, your host, Shauna Lynn Simon. And today we are diving into accountability. Often seen as just a buzzword, it really isn't. It's much more than that. It is an absolute powerful tool that can transform both your personal and your professional life. So we're going to explore, what does accountability really mean, why it's essential, and how you can incorporate it into your daily routine to help you to achieve more. So let's kick things off with a quote from Bob Proctor that perfectly encapsulates our topic. So he said, "Equity is the glue that ties commitment to results." This is exactly what we're going to be unpacking today. Accountability helps you to take that idea that you have, that goal that you have, and really commit to it to achieve the results that you want to achieve. So, what is accountability? Well, at its core, accountability means essentially being responsible and answering for your actions. It's about taking ownership of your commitments, of your follow through, of the things that you said you were going to do. It's about really taking action and being responsible for those outcomes, for those results, and for the next steps that you're going to be taking. It's really easy to say, well, I didn't work out today because, the weather wasn't great or my car wouldn't start. And, it's easy to find excuses to not do something. When you're accountable, though, none of those excuses matter. Car didn't start, take an Uber. It's raining, work out inside. There's always an option to things. So, personal accountability or professional accountability, it doesn't matter. We want to eliminate excuses and see more action, more follow through. In personal life, it might be, exactly what I was talking about, sticking to your workout routine, or perhaps it's about maintaining a healthier lifestyle, whether it's your eating habits or your general level of activity or your stress management, or just taking that, self-care time, that me time. In professional accountability, we're talking about how are you achieving those business success goals, whether you are an entrepreneur, which of course, most people listening to this podcast, I know, are entrepreneurs, but you might also just be a high performance, career driven woman who wants to see results and who wants to get somewhere, who wants to advance in your current career, whether it's within the same organization or moving on to another organization, whatever that looks like. Holding yourself accountable professionally is going to help to drive your success. When you hold yourself accountable, you're setting expectations for yourself. You create a bit of a structure to help you to stay on track. And this structure actually helps you to reduce your stress and prevent burnout because you're clear on what your objectives are. And, I always say that accountability, where that comes in is, it's your motivation isn't there. Your accountability, the discipline that comes with that is what's going to get you to that next step, because we're not always feeling motivated to do things. We don't always want to do the things we know we need to be doing. So that's where accountability really comes in. Sarah Blakely, she's the founder of Spanx. I have talked about her previously because I consider her what I call an accidental CEO, where she set out to solve a problem that she saw, a gap in the marketplace, a product that didn't exist that she wanted to introduce, and she found a way to solve it. Was she looking to build this empire of a business and become this powerful businesswoman that she is today? Sure, I'm sure that she had some thoughts about that, but it wasn't necessarily her main motivator. Her initial motivator was to solve a problem. So I love talking about Sarah Blakely, but she often talks about how having mentors and accountability partners has helped her to stay focused and to achieve her goals. And this is exactly the kind of impact that accountability can have on your life. So let's start with personal accountability. And this is about holding yourself responsible for your own well-being. I've talked a little bit about some of the, challenges that I have faced personally. And it's really easy to say, I can't. In fact, it's one of the easiest things to say. I can't means that you're off the hook, right? But as someone who has never really liked to back down from a challenge, I don't take I can't for an answer. I am very solution focused. I'm always looking at how can I do something. And, so when I was dealing with my recovery from burnout, I had to really focus on what I could do and ignore the things that I couldn't do. So those things that I can't do, like, yep, those are going to be restrictions and those are going to hold me back. But let's focus on what it is that I can do. I've spoken previously about how I'm an avid runner. I have asthma. I'm not supposed to be a runner, but I refuse to let that stop me from doing something that I knew I loved just passionately. If you're a runner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I wasn't about to let something like asthma hold me back. Does it change how I approach running? Absolutely. I approach it differently than the average runner would because I have different considerations. But I hold myself accountable to the fact that I can run, and therefore what can I do to help with that? So if you want to, whether it's sticking to a workout regimen or eating healthy or taking time for self-care, whatever it is, here are some strategies to help you to stay accountable. But first is be really clear about what it is you're trying to achieve. That's going to help you. If you've got your eye on the finish line, it's a lot easier to stay the course and to continue to work towards it, even when setbacks might throw you off of it a little bit. When it comes to your workout routine, look at implementing, fitness trackers. There's lots of different apps that you can use to monitor your goals, whether it's weight loss, whether it's specific measurements, whether it's just about managing your eating habits. You can log your food and track your macros and your macronutrients, your protein levels, your carbohydrates, whatever your intake is. But it's really important that throughout this journey, you got your eye on that finish line, but don't let that be the only goal that you're celebrating. You've got to celebrate your milestones along the way. So maybe you achieved your first week of a 5-day workout. Fantastic. But maybe you're starting off smaller. Maybe your goal this week is just to, maybe your goal is you want to work up to working out 5 days a week. Okay, so this week you're going to work out twice a week. And then maybe in a couple of weeks, you're going to work out 3 times a week. And so when you've achieved those goals, celebrate those along the way. That'll help you to stay motivated for that long-term goal as well. But then share your successes and your setbacks. This is where that accountability comes in. So, you want to find a supportive environment, ideally. So let's say you want to take up running. Well, maybe you're joining a running group. Maybe you're joining a Facebook group online or a meetup group where they're having discussions around their running strategies. But maybe it's just as simple as find a couple of people in your personal life that you can share these things with. Maybe it's someone who's actually going to go running with you or is going to work out with you. For myself, I have specific days of the week that I work out with others, and I have other days that I work out by myself. And I'm pretty good now at holding myself accountable to my own personal workouts. But I will say that on the days that I don't feel motivated, I am most grateful when I know that it's on a day where I have a workout partner, because that is going to hold me accountable. So I run every Monday morning. Therefore, it's not an option to not run Monday morning if I wake up not feeling like it. There is a running partner who is counting on me to show up. I do my fitness boxing on Wednesdays. And so my coach, my trainer, is expecting me to show up. So it's not an option for me to just wake up that morning and say, no, I don't feel like it, and roll over and go back to sleep. So maybe you don't have someone who is going to physically hold you accountable and is actually going to show up on those workouts. So perhaps it's about announcing on social media what you're doing and having your audience and your friends encourage you and hold you accountable. Maybe it's as simple as asking one of your friends to text you on a regular basis to ask you whether or not you went for that workout in the morning. Maybe it's about creating a small group chat in your favorite chatting app with a few like-minded people who have similar goals, and you can support each other in it. Find what that supportive environment looks like for you, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's a group, and hold yourself accountable to your successes and your setbacks. So share with them when you don't make it to your workout, or if you don't have your healthy eating routine that week, or whatever it is that personal goal is that you're trying to achieve. If you don't succeed, I don't like using that word succeed, because every step is a stepping stone towards your great success. But maybe you have a bit of a setback and you're not as on track with things one week. We'll share that with them as well. what that does is by sharing it out loud, it allows you to hold yourself accountable and take responsibility for it. And also even dissect it a little bit and identify maybe what was it that went wrong that week, and did anything go wrong? Or maybe you just had an off week. Maybe it was just a matter of you had company visiting and that threw you off your routine a little bit. Forgive yourself, of course, but share both your successes and your setbacks so that you can celebrate those wins and evaluate any of the setbacks. Now, let's talk business. Having someone in your business hold you accountable can really propel you to new heights. I've always been a huge believer in both having an accountability partner and a business coach, and it's something that I've always strived to have. Now, there are times that I go without having a business coach, usually just because I'm in between coaches. So I'm always seeking to find what that next coach is based on what the goals are that I've identified, who's going to help me and hold me accountable to achieving that. But my accountability partners have been absolutely crucial in helping me to stay on track because I know they're checking in with me each week. So, whether it's a business coach, a mentor, an accountability partner, whatever it looks like, in the business world, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, I believe it is very important to have at least one person, if not multiple people. So maybe you might have a mastermind group plus your business coach plus your accountability partner, but each one's going to serve a different purpose and each one's going to help you to achieve those goals. I know for myself personally, they've helped me to stay focused. They've helped me to achieve my goals. They've helped me to think of things in a different perspective in a way that maybe I hadn't thought of things, and they help me to rethink solutions, which is really important. And doesn't necessarily mean that they have to have all the answers, but just having that like-minded individual that I can bounce ideas off of has proven to be immensely beneficial for me. So some tips on finding an accountability partner. Look for someone who's either in a non-competitive industry who's local to you or local-ish to you, or find someone who is in the same industry but operates in a different market. So let's say you're in construction. So you're not going to find someone who's within a 45-mile radius of you potentially, but maybe you'll find someone who maybe you're on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast. So there's no way that you're going to have any overlap in your businesses. And the reason why I say this is, you want to ensure that you're not going to have that fear of overlapping, so you can feel confident and comfortable with sharing real things that are happening, being vulnerable, share all the secrets of your business, all the failures, all the successes, really peel every layer back essentially, because that's the best way that they're going to be able to support you. So if it is someone local, make sure that it's someone who's in a non-competing industry, and maybe signing an NDA as well. I've done that as well with, let's have a conversation, but let's sign an NDA or non-disclosure agreement, so that we both feel comfortable exposing ourselves and sharing proprietary information with the expectation, the understanding that it's not going to go any further. And the other thing to look for in an accountability partner is someone who shares similar values and or goals to you. And this doesn't mean they have to be on the exact same trajectory as you, or that they operate their business in exactly the same way, but having some similar values. So for example, if one person is all numbers driven, whereas the other person is more customer experience driven, you're not going to align on where you meet up. So the advice that you're going to give each other is going to be a little bit disconnected. Now, if you have an accountability partner, you want to make sure that you're navigating that partnership, and you're both getting that give and take from it. So be sure to set some clear expectations of what do you each want to get out of this relationship? What do you expect? Is the other person expected to give you advice? Or if you're someone who doesn't take advice very well, are you just looking for someone to bounce ideas off of, just someone to listen, just someone to ask you about how you did on your previous week tasks and goals? Or do you want someone who's going to be a more active participant? And then set up regular check-ins with them. I recommend weekly. I think that in my experience with an accountability partner, weekly does tend to work best. But you might find that cadence doesn't work well for you. Maybe you want to do bi-weekly, maybe you want to do monthly. But again, in my experience, I found that weekly works best for me. So find what works best for you. And then make sure you show up at each meeting prepared. And there's going to be meetings where one is more prepared than the other. But overall, you want to have the goal of being as prepared as possible for these meetings. So you've come with a bit of an agenda and you've identified where you can use support, what your top priorities are for the week, where you could use, what does help look like? So you've identified the areas you can use support, but what does help actually look like? Is help, reviewing a web page of yours? Or does help just look like someone listening to you? What does that look like? And is there anything that you can be going into that meeting prepared with of like, oh, I saw this thing this week and this resonated with me that I thought you might find it beneficial, or I read this book that I thought that you would really like and appreciate. Sharing things with each other and making sure that you're both balancing the amount of time that you're taking in those meetings. I have found an hour for accountability meetings tends to work best, but again, figure out what works best for you and make sure that you have a bit of an agenda that you're following, and keep notes as well, whether it's one person taking notes for everyone or you're each taking your own notes. Make sure that you are leaving that meeting with a clear understanding as to what it is that you're expected to do for the next meeting. And keep in mind that your accountability partner isn't technically responsible for you or whether or not you complete what you set out to, but just that knowledge that you're checking in with someone is often enough. Plus, just knowing that you're not alone. I think in entrepreneurship, there's so many solopreneurs out there, right? You're doing everything on your own, and sure, you might have, a spouse or a romantic partner or even a friendship, strong friendship partner that you share your thoughts and ideas with, but they're not necessarily on the same journey as you. They're not feeling the same things that you are. They're not impacted the same way that you are. And so having a like-minded individual who's sort of in your corner helps you to feel supported and helps you to feel like you're not alone. And it really helps to provide that drive some days on those really, really hard days. It helps to provide that drive. And when you have those really challenging situations that you're just not quite sure how to navigate, it gives you someone to reflect with. Now, a business coach does not replace an accountability partner, but it is a way that you can elevate the support and accountability that you receive. So a business coach is going to bring a wealth of expertise and experience. They've often navigated some of the same challenges as you that you're facing, or if they haven't, they have supported clients that have navigated similar challenges, and they can provide really valuable insights and strategies. They understand the nuances of running a business and can offer tailored advice that you might not get from sort of more generic resources. And this is definitely something that's key. I wouldn't solicit advice from a business coach who's never operated their own business, right? You want someone who's been on a similar journey, who's achieved some successes that you want to achieve. I also want a business coach who's failed. I don't want a business coach that, everything they touch turned to gold. They need to know what failure feels like, because not every decision we make is going to lead us down this, yellow brick road, so to speak. Not every decision that we make is going to be a winning one. And we need to be able to navigate those missteps as with agility and with versatility in the same way that we would navigate any successes and growth that we experience. So you want to have a coach that has had some of these experiences. One of the first things that a business coach is going to help you to do is to set some clear and achievable goals. And then they're going to help you to break those down into your long-term vision, into manageable and actionable steps that you can actually take action on, and set a bit of a clear path into like the structure of what does that look like? What's the next step? I think probably one of the things that most of my clients tend to say is, after we've had our session, I'm going to send them an email. Within 24 hours, I send out an email that gives them, here's the summary of notes if you want to read it. But the biggest thing that they want from that is like, what are their action steps? And even though they're taking their own notes during our meeting, they know what their action steps are. They're waiting for me to just like give them that visual of like step by step. This is what this looks like. This is what you're going to work on. This is what I'm going to work on. This is what we're going to come together and talk about at our next meeting. And just knowing that they have that plan, knowing what they can expect, setting those expectations is really, really key to them. So when you encounter any sort of obstacles in your business, whether it's, a decision that didn't quite pan out the way that you had hoped it would, or a project that's stalled in some way, or you're just kind of stuck on an idea that you can't quite formulate to its completion, a business coach can help you to navigate through all of this effectively and provide you with a fresh perspective and offer solutions that perhaps you haven't even considered, and help you to get unstuck and help you to maintain momentum even during your most challenging times. Now, I can't stress this enough. You need to be coachable. If you think you have all the answers, if you are closed off to other thoughts and opinions, it's going to be challenging. For me, I always say that I choose my business coaches based on the ones who make me feel the most uncomfortable. If you can make me feel uncomfortable in an assessment with me and identify my weaknesses and identify where I could use that support, I'm going to trust you that much more. So your meetings with your coach always feels super comfortable. You need to get outside of your comfort zone. That's really what that coach is there to do and to help you to do. They're going to be monitoring your progress, going to be holding you accountable, and they're going to be expecting results from you. And because you're investing in their services, whereas an accountability partner, you're both investing your time, but you're not usually investing money in each other. But with your business coach, you've invested money into their services. So you really want to make sure that you squeeze every bit of motivation and support and expertise that you can out of every single session, and outside of those sessions, of course, as well. And that can really help you to just achieve more than you might have done on your own. I mean, I know that when I'm at the gym with my trainer and I think that I've spent all the energy that I have, if I was on my own, it'd be quitting time. But when he's telling me I got 3 more of whatever it is I'm doing left in me, in boxing, it's you got 1 more 3-minute round in you. And I think I'm spent, but nope, he's going to push me to do 1 more 3-minute round. And you know what? I'm going to do that 3-minute round. This is where your coach comes in. They're going to push you beyond that comfort zone. They're going to push you beyond where you would normally say, I'm done. I'm going to stop here. They're going to take it to that next level. And they're going to provide you with objective feedback and honest assessments about your performance. Again, it's not always going to be what you want to hear, but it's going to be what you need to hear. They're not going to be afraid to tell you those hard truths that maybe your friends, your colleagues, and even your accountability partner might shy away from. And that candid feedback is really crucial to help you to grow, because it helps you to identify areas for improvement and make the necessary adjustments. So it can be a real game changer for you to build that sustainable and successful business. If you're feeling stuck or looking to take your business to the next level, definitely consider investing in a business coach. Let me ask you this. How many times have you had that idea that you haven't followed through on? How many times have you started a project or taken steps towards a goal only to get distracted, off track, frustrated, or just disinterested in it? Accountability, whether it's through an accountability partner, a mastermind group, a business coach, is going to be your game changer. Now, listen, this has not been a plug to say I need to be your business coach, because let's be real, I'm not necessarily the best fit for everyone out there. So I might not be your answer to getting you unstuck. But if you are interested in exploring what your options are, I would absolutely love to sit down with you and have a free call where we can go over what your goals and objectives are. And if nothing else, we can help to create a blueprint and a plan for you to move forward with or without me. If you are interested in setting up a call, go to aboutshaunalynn.com/plan, PLAN. So aboutshaunalynn.com/plan, and we will have a business planning session. And like I said, talk about your goals, create a bit of a roadmap to help you to achieve the success and the sustainability in your business and the growth that you want in your business and that you deserve to have in your business. But like I said, this is not a plug for my coaching services. The point is that I want you to have that accountability. The more we are an island, the less likely we are to succeed. Talk to any successful entrepreneur that you see out there, and I promise you, all along the way, they had people that were lifting them up and pulling them up or pushing them from behind, but they've got people that have been on their side that have been guiding them this whole way. They might take responsibility for the ideas and some of the actions that they took, but that follow through, that continual motivation, that discipline, that we don't always have that to draw on ourselves. So if you're lacking some of that strength, you're lacking some of that motivation, That's where your accountability partner, your business coach will fill in those gaps on those days that you don't quite have it in you. And of course, yes, you've got it. You've still got to have it in you. So, we want to make sure that you're feeling good about where you're at and what it is that you're doing and get you on that path to success. And again, having that clarity of your vision that you can work through with your accountability partner, with your business coach, that clarity of your vision and knowing exactly what it is that you're working towards, that will help you to maintain that motivation and ensure that you don't get distracted by the next shiny object that throws you off course. All right. So listen, if what I'm saying here today resonates with you, then I really hope that you'll tune in again next week and allow me to continue to be a part of your journey. Be sure to leave us a review and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. But, the best way that you can support us is share us. If you know someone else that can benefit from the message that we're sharing here, please share this podcast with them. It would mean a great deal to us, and I'm sure it would mean a lot to them as well. That's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, keep thriving.